Oh, okay. Unfortunately, it seems to be getting to the time of the year where traffic from my place to here gets worse every day.
It's freaking rain. It's just moisture on the road. Driving like dum-dums.
Is it better in the summer or the winter?
It seems to be better the darker it is. I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but
Yeah, on my way here, I was driving just the speed of traffic behind some people. And the Suburban was just like riding my ass, flashing me the whole way down. Get over.
Yeah. Just go around, dude.
But everyone was going about 67.
Yeah, people got slow today. Seems like there's a photo somehow attached, where you can't like click into it or whatever. So I'm gonna cross-reference past jobs we've done and see if that was related.
Well, she attached the photo?
No, I didn't see one, really?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like, oh, you have to like zoom super in, I don't get it.
That might be a profile picture.
Got it. Wait, Kylie Webster on Monday?
What?
Monday, how many homes? Could've been that one.
It's not even the same.
Well, I just thought because it said Kellyanne. That's
what's going on?
somebody left a 1-star review.
Helen Holden, seemed like either their actual real name or yeah.
It's like right next to the name, and that you might be right.
No, that's just our profile
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah, that. Yeah, you can see it right. That's the picture right.
Maybe it's not the same picture.
That's a different picture. I don't know. Maybe all red. That's what I'm afraid of. Just type in.
You guys seen that video where Kamala's like, don't come? And then it's a bunch of clips of Trump saying, I'm gonna come.
Yes.
I love that one.
I don't think I've seen it, but that is kind of funny. Not
And
gonna
then he
lie.
was making a speech where he's like, he was talking about a bunch of like important people, like, he's gonna come, everybody's gonna come.
Everybody's coming. That is one of my soundboard sounds on Discord.
Alright, well,
for today's article, I actually have two. One is just like super short. They got a new version of Happy Birthday, and she is not having it.
She flipped.
That's so funny.
You can't mess with that song.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Hey, what's up? If we've never met, my name is Jeff from the 360 Electrician. Hey, are you tired of going to work?
Get right to that breaking news and the 30 officers who are now facing charges.
Our Mark Carter-Robles joins us live from the newsroom with the details. Mark.
Yeah, Giovanna and Mark, these really are some wild charges. Those 30 detention officers at Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall in Downey have been charged with child endangerment and abuse, conspiracy, and battery. The indictment alleges the officers allowed and in some cases encouraged these fights to occur, all involving youth inmates. How many exactly? Allegedly 69 of these gladiator-style fights between July and December of 2023 impacted 143 victims. Those youth inmates ranging in age from 12 to 18. According to Attorney General Rob Bonta's office, the Department of Justice got involved after video footage of an actual fight leaked just over a year ago. Bonta spoke just about an hour ago and described this as a deeply disturbing case.
I'm into it.
Some
People
officers
need to
are
fight
even
more.
seen
Men
running
be men.
and shaking hands with the young people involved. Watching the video, the officers look more like referees or audience members at a prize fight, not adults, charged with the care and supervision of young people.
This statement just in from the hour from LA County Police Department.
Okay, it's bad to hear it, but for it actually to happen and those kids to have that story, epic.
You know?
Folks collaborated with law enforcement
Hopefully it
authorities throughout this
doesn't lengthen
investigation
sentences
and
and
has
stuff
been
for
conducting
them
our
now.
own internal inquiries. The current staff named in today's indictments have all been placed on leave without pay. We should mention that 22 of the officers were arraigned today in LA Superior Court. The remaining officers will be arraigned next month.
Wow.
Live news are Mark Robles, ABC.
Holy smokes. That's crazy.
Like cops too. Cops need to be able to take a punch and be okay. You know,
Yeah,
a couple punches, not even press charges against them. Yeah, there's a bar fight. I got beat up a little bit. You know, it's like not a big deal.
Yeah, definitely there are some people out there who just need to get punched in the face.
Yeah, it would do
Not
them
gonna lie.
really a lot of good. Like
Yeah.
at the moment they would not like it, but you would learn like,
Yeah,
oh, I can't be
you
a dick.
can't just disrespect people like crazy.
I love how I got off the phone with them for that thing. And all I hear out of this room is sometimes people just need to get punched in the face.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, fights just aren't really much of a thing anymore. That's crazy.
I love it.
Juvenile Hall is wild.
So this is again another one of those articles that I pulled off the half-ass morning show. So it's
Yeah.
stuff like this. I'm sure they had a heyday with reading this news article. I can still hear like the main guys laugh with this because, you know, gladiator fights and then 69 victims. It's just like,
Yeah.
you gotta be kidding.
Yeah.
They hold
Doesn't
it
get
for
more
20
of a-
p.m.
Yeah. It doesn't become more of a meme than that. Like, that's so crazy.
This article came out during Mardi Gras too.
Freaking Marty.
Oh, Mardi Gras!
Yeah, buddy. So we haven't actually celebrated it yet. We're actually
Weekend?
celebrating it on Sunday. Yeah, and basically just eat a lot of good food. And probably play some games with some meats and stuff. But we'll see. But-
Speaking of Mardi Gras, there was a video of some guy driving a Tesla truck in an area where Mardi Gras was going on, and people were just throwing stuff at his truck.
Wow.
Just pelting it with beads and cans and all sorts of other stuff. And then this chick just walks over, and I think she just projectile vomits on the thing, and then walks back into the crowd. I'm like, what is going on?
I did not like that truck.
It's freaking insane, dude. People are nuts.
Oh, I told Gavin this yesterday, but our projection is really 2 weeks from, let's just call it Monday, that we'll have our fourth year. Our goal really is here within just a handful of weeks to be at 10 calls a day. we're averaging anywhere from 4 to 7 a day right now, like for the past couple weeks. That's about where we're at. So 10 calls a day is not too far away. We're doing a ton of advertisement, ton of new advertisement. I even talked to ABC News, and we're trying to work a deal that we can do like a feel-good story of the company. Like it started from scratch, where it is today. If you guys are open to interviews about like your story with it, and obviously this is still an old making. You don't have to be a parent. So that'll be kind of interesting. But anyway, our goal is to have our 4th in a couple weeks here, and then look our 5th and 6th, 7th.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because 10 calls a day really would support like 6 or 7 employees.
Yeah.
It really would.
With the call volume that we're talking, like, yes, it's still kind of like fluctuating in that normal range, but the size of the inquiries right now are huge. Like, every other call is at least 7 days versus, oh, we're looking at a half day, or you're looking at a day. Like, these jobs are huge that are coming in. Couple that with, like how you said, with the news article, he said that they had done an article on, what was it, an air duct company, how they made something that they blow into your air duct and it seals things up to make it more efficient. And he said before the article finished airing, like while it was on the air, he said their phone blew up.
Sure.
So there's some stuff on the horizon.
Oh, yeah. Last week sometime, I was I was talking with Craig a little bit, because we spent a little bit of time driving around the vans, trying to get people out there seeing us, and I mentioned to him, like, I understand it's not how it works, but sometimes doing stuff like that, just a smidge of that instant gratification, knowing that what we're doing, people are seeing and stuff. And while we were driving around, Craig saw someone take a picture of our van while we were out driving around. It was like I wished it into the universe. It was kind of strange, kind of cool. And then also on, I don't remember what day it was. I don't know, sometime last week, one of the guys I was talking to is this goofball. He's a strange fella, but he mentioned that he saw our vans out and about, whether that was just us just driving around or us driving to a job site, but he saw our vans out, took a picture, and that's how he knew to call us, because he's had this damage for years now, and he's like, oh man, I gotta get that taken care of, and like, boom, there's a company that just, it's like he wished it into existence almost, like, it is cool. You never know who's paying attention, so let's just make sure we're out there, being friendly to people. Don't park like an asshole. Take up multiple spots. Like, just be like a nice person. You never know who's paying attention. Make sure your van's presentable. You're presentable, because people do pay attention. And like I said, like I wanted just some sort of that instant gratification, just knowing that even people were looking at us or something, and people will, so let's continue keeping our standards with keeping like our vans clean. Let's not drive like assholes on the road, like we want to be a good company, a proud company that like when people see, they're like, oh, that is somebody we can use. Like if they see us out about doing crazy stuff or whatever, not that any of us do that or like anything crazy, but it's just important to remember that when we're out and about, like we are wearing company image, we're driving around the company image, our name, our phone number is plastered all over everything that we are driving around, what we're wearing. People pay attention, so let's just make sure we're keeping that like a nice attitude and a nice clean presentation, because like things like that, people are paying attention, people are looking for random stuff. It's kind of cool, but I just wanted to share just a couple of those random little things. Like people are paying attention to us, and we are starting to get that traction again, and it's nice. And it was a little bit real slow for a little bit there, but we pushed through. We kept doing our thing, and jobs are starting to fill, and it just goes to show like are doing is working and will continue to work. And as long as we keep doing our part, then we'll be good. Any questions about your job, Troy? Your first
so
job?
simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little baby one. This one's coming along all right. I did talk with Craig yesterday. Say that I felt like we were a day or two behind. If I'm being honest with you, I think it's just really, we're going slow. Now that a lot of the slow stuff is mostly done in here, I think it'll start to go faster. But there was a lot of freaking weirdness up in this area, below the stairs. It was freaking irritating. But things are starting to cruise along. And then Troy was able to get a room coated in here, and with the texture that it is, it's not crazy thick. So I do still think that we can do probably 2 coats on this and texture right on over it. And really, like, the first coat is what takes the longest, because it requires the most amount of mud, because you're doing the most amount of fill. So once we get everything first coated in these areas, things will start to cruise on by upstairs. So we'll see.
Are we big rolling?
We did not yesterday because I forgot paint roller stuff.
I do think that would be, get your big mixer, and I think that's gonna be.
Yeah, we had the big mixer. We just had so many things that we had to remember yesterday and just forgot the paint roller. So we'll make sure we get a paint roller because I agree with you.
Just transfers to the wall.
It does. And then I do actually have questions about this. This is the obviously their kitchen. From my understanding, they're putting cabinets in here so we don't have to worry about it.
Where was that in my kitchen?
Smack dab, like this is the fridge.
Did they move the fridge?
Was that brick there along?
No, it was like cabinetry.
So we're not touching.
Oh wait, that makes, he said that while they were moving the cabinets in the kitchen, they
Oh,
were
right.
fixing the drywall. That is gonna be covered by black splash and does not require attention.
So we're not.
Okay, that makes a lot, like, now that I'm
So-
So
seeing
the
that.
brick, we're doing 0.
Right.
Okay, but for like above and below it, are we trying to make that fully smooth as well? I mean, it's gonna be kitchen cabinets. and
That's
stuff.
gonna fall.
Like, it's gonna fall off of that. Yeah, that's my concern. Because, yeah, like Santa's saying, it's gonna flake and fall off, especially once they try hanging something in here.
How, like, how big is, wait, backsplash is just a term, so they're probably gonna do like tile or whatever.
Yeah, it'll probably be like similar to this size, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. It depends on their cabinets, like how high up their cabinets go,
When you-
how low their cabinets go.
When you guys have been there the last 2 times, has the GC or the homeowner been there?
Homeowner showed up for like 3 or 4 minutes yesterday.
Yeah,
I saw him a couple times.
he shows up and picks up.
Apparently he's staying at an Airbnb or something.
Yeah, so maybe we can talk to him.
If they show up, let's ask questions. If we don't see one of them by the end of the day, then I'll reach out to the GC and be like, hey, what is our ultimate plan here? So we can try and narrow that down.
Yeah, okay.
Are we also going to retexture like the stairs leading?
Yeah,
And for sure not retexturing.
correct.
Because I agree with Jace, there are a couple walls that are wholly smooth downstairs, but the majority of them have the exact same texture as upstairs.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah, it's probably just because of,
I think he maybe just only cares more about the upstairs.
yeah, that'd be my guess as well. I just wanted to just double triple check, you know? Because I was gonna say our timeline's way off if that's the case.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah, things are going pretty well. We'll make training fairly short today, but I do want to talk about chalk line. Chalk line, also another helpful tool, especially like if you don't have laser or something. It's good for like obviously trying to straighten up maybe like a large patch or whatever, so on and so forth. You pick a reference point, you make a mark, and then you go down to the edge of another patch, like a huge area, right? Big area. And then you can make another one, and then you can just chalk line, snap it, and then you get like a squared up area. That's a good way of using it. I use this every single time. Essentially, I am doing an angle like under these stairs. So before I actually talk about how I did that angle, I'm just gonna show the chalk line. Obviously, pull it out, put it on one of your reference points, and then to the next one, fairly tight, pull it, snaps, and it leaves that line there, so it's a good reference to cut. This, you just pull this back, and of course I can't.
It's a little sticky.
Yeah, it's a little sticky, but you pull it back, and that's how you refill it with dust. I'm afraid of opening it and blasting the wall.
You don't want to be smart.
Or
Yeah.
you bend your nail back.
Oh, yeah, I've done that too, and that hurts. So yeah, they can be a little sticky, but that's where you fill it up. Pretty plain and simple. So I'm using that as a reference, the picture. So, and I'm just gonna kind of make up imaginary numbers, but for instance, this piece was 4 foot high. I got it from there to this stud right here. Basically, what I did in order to get that angle is I took wherever this stair hit that 4 foot mark from the ground to the 4 foot high, because I knew that was my height. Like if you had a shorter piece, that's where you would reference it from, but because it was 4 foot, I measured from there to here, make sure that's that 4 foot, and then from there to wherever this may be. Like let's just, so like here, this is that 4 foot that that is that where you know that angle's gonna end. Let's just say this is, I don't know, 5 feet, 2 from this angle to where that 4 foot line is. So I know that, assuming everything was cut straight, which it was, because it's a nice clean line from the under the stairs, that if I got my 5 foot mark, basically like if I'm taking a new sheet or whatever, I'm gonna score kind of that top of that of the new piece that I'm trying to do, score it with my razor blade at that 5 foot mark, and then kind of hook in my chalk line and bring it all the way down to that corner. And then I snap that line, and then I just use my razor blade, chopped it off. Boom, that angle is going to be almost perfect pretty much every single time, give or take. There are some imperfections and stuff, like sometimes like sealing is a little wonky or whatever, but this is a good way of getting your angles at least very close, so that way you don't have a giant fill. And as you can see, it turned out really nice, and honestly, you can do it even, it doesn't matter the direction. Like I, at the James Cable job, did one on the outside of the big area, like in the stairwell. I did it the opposite and did it from here. But the same principle applies, right? Like you want to get this measurement, measure from here to here, and then once you snap it to that edge of the drywall, it is almost perfect every single time. I mean, you guys were all there to see it. It was, especially the James Cable one, it was seriously like so tight. We didn't have to do any sort of fill, any sort of mud work right there. Just a nice caulk line right down there, right along that baseboard. It would seal up that little gap. So chalk lines are something I love to use, especially when you get weird, funky angles like this. On a smaller piece, a lot of times I just kind of eyeball it. But with bigger ones, especially if you're just trying to make it so you don't have to get a bunch of seams in here, which is another way you can do smaller pieces. But honestly, I just didn't want to mud a bunch of seams. So that is the method I use. And that is how I get my angles, and that's how I typically will use my chalk line, other than like trying to square something up or what.
I love using the square stuff up.
If this is drywall here, and you're taking that long piece and you're trying to do the angle like this on it, what I like to do is take my knife and I'll just score, like make a little line, so then you can take the string and place it in the line. So that way it kind of holds it instead of, because this little hook thing
It
doesn't like to be at an angle. It likes to slide.
I
So
usually
if you
use
like cut a line.
I usually use a screw. I don't know.
And it's short, but of course that works. I find that sometimes it blows out a little bit. So just a little score, like a straight, like
Yeah,
you
it's
can
just-
bevel in, and then this just sits in that channel. And it holds it.
Yeah, it should have been a little bit more clear, but that is exactly what I do. I score that top of it, just so that string can have something to hook to. Because a lot of times, you know, I mean, it's a one-man job, not even turn it into a two-man job. You hold this side, I hold this side real quick, like. it literally
And you
can be
don't
done
wanna
in
score
one.
it too deep, because
Yeah.
then you're measuring too.
Yeah, then your
If you
angle is
score it
gonna
that
be-
deep, then you've lost a whole, your angle.
Yeah, your entire angle will be off. It's crazy, like, if you adjust it an inch down, like, that whole angle is gonna be, not even just like a little bit off, like, you're gonna have a pretty decent sized fill, because that angle is just gonna be more extreme, than what it needs to be. But yeah, that's,
Good thinking with this.
tip and trick for the day. Very handy. Anything anyone else would like to add?
That looks very simple, but then the one piece above looks awful.
Oh, yeah, that one above, was the oil painted, but I'll be honest
So
with
you would use very similar techniques.
Yeah.
You would measure like whichever one you installed first. Like let's just pretend this was installed first because it would be the same technique. You would just measure from here to here, and that so you'd measure the length, so you know where that is. Then you would measure from there to there. Then you'd measure from there to there, and then you'd measure where that is there to there.
Yeah.
And it's
Same-
just a ton more.
Yeah.
And you can do it all. I mean,
Exact same principle, just
Annoying.
more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, you are correct, it was a oil paint above. To be honest with you, I didn't do it that way for this one, just because I was getting irritated with how long things were taking, so I hung my piece, I didn't hang it, I held my piece up, hugging the top of this, which I, could let it rest on this side, but not so much on this, and then I just took the router and
Oh, yeah, that's great.
followed along here, and it worked all right, it was just, I goofed it up a little bit, which is why there's tape right here. But when you mess it up, obviously we always have to like refill those big gaps, so otherwise you're gonna get some ugliness in there. But all right, let's get after it, fellas.
Alright,
Blam!
so what do we need today? We need some 5/8.
5/8 for sure.
How was that screw gun? Is that the better one?
Oh, I need my screw gun.
Yeah, I let him use it in place of apparently his one out of his bag.
Yeah, it was so annoying. I went to grab my screw gun for yesterday, and I was like, oh, it is still in my van. It fell out of my bag. It must have-
Game wardens on lunch break.
Oh, by the way, I tell you, so I did try that new trail mix stuff.
Oh, how was it?
You
You don't like it? I've had one. They're pretty good.
And it was alright, it was like, it was filling.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like the flavors as much. They weren't terrible, they just weren't as, I prefer the other trail mix personally.
Yeah, he is talking about these. We got some viewers here, buddy. Some randos.
Oh, I did not know that.
Check our shop out, people. Come on, Tucker. So that's our shop. We're going to try to film this every morning live. The purpose of these videos are... Oh, we're out of people.
Hello, Mr. Gavin Screw Gun.